Okay, this is Boxing with the Truth, and you're here today with the Truth on January 18th, 2015. And we are here with former champion Junior Jones. How you doing today, Junior Jones?
I'm doing great today.
Let's just go over a few little facts. You fought in 3 different divisions, right? The featherweight, bantamweight, and super bantamweight?
That's correct. And came over for a short time.
Okay, and you're 44 now, right?
Yeah, I just turned 44 December 19th.
Okay, are you still living in Brooklyn, New York?
Yes, I am. Still in Brooklyn.
Okay, and you started your pro career in 1989 and you retired in 2002, right?
Yes, correct. 2001.
2001?
Correct.
Okay, and your pro record is actually 50 wins with 28 knockouts and 6 losses, right?
Correct.
Okay, and your nickname is Poison.
That's correct also.
Okay, I just want to briefly touch on your nickname. How did you get the nickname Poison?
I got the nickname because in school they call me Poison Ivy a lot because my legal given name is Ivy Jones Jr. I don't like the name Ivy, so I thought I was going to call Ivy so Poison Ivy. So the one time I was in a tournament fighting in the Junior Olympics, and there was some guy that stopped the came and some guy across the wild. The guy got poison in his head, so that's how I came along.
Okay. Now in the amateurs, you actually won the New York Golden Glove Championships twice, right?
Correct.
And your amateur record is really impressive. When I saw this, I couldn't believe it. 150 wins and 9 losses, is that right?
Yes, correct.
Wow. And
that's a lot of losses.
Say that again?
That's a lot of losses.
That's a lot of losses, huh? So, all right, let's jump up in your career now. First, though, you were in the Olympic trials, right? And you,
Yes, I was.
okay, and you lost to Kennedy McKinney, right?
Correct.
Okay, and we're gonna talk about him again later, because he seems to be the poison of your career for some reason.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Nothing I was a part of my whole career.
Because he seems to he stopped you in the Olympics from getting your dream to doing the Olympics and earning a medal. And then farther down in your career later, he seemed to kind of put a stop on some big fights that you could have been more involved in.
But with that fight with McKinney, that was a point where it wasn't handled more me. I went to the fight, I was pissed over into the fight because on press conference, it was so disrespectful. So going to the fight, I was I was angry. So I dropped him. I just got over the dogs because I was angry.
Say that again. He was so disrespectful to you?
Yeah, so I was so pissed off and angry. I dropped him. I just wasn't thinking. I just started throwing punches just to hurt him.
And that was in the pro fight, though, right?
Yeah.
Did you even really know who he was when you fought him in the Olympic trials?
Yeah, of course you know I was.
But I mean, you guys didn't have any issues then, though, right?
Not at all.
Do you feel that fight though in the pros? Do you feel the way that happened and the timing and all that? Do you think that's what stopped you from getting a fight with Prince Nassim Hamed and Kevin Kelly?
No, I just think that it was more me than anything else. I think that when I finally hit my distance, so pissed off for the fight, I just wasn't thinking.
But did you really want to fight Hamed in your career?
Yeah, I want to make real bad because I know for a fact I could be Hamed. But he mad for me. He want to fight me.
Did you guys ever even have that fight close? Was there ever contracts drawn up?
Yeah, no. We sat down with overtime and the final was set made. And every time the final was set made, they called the fight off. So we just got to a point where they saw something like, well, We will put them on the same card, ABC Candy, and AB Kevin put them on the next fight. Unfortunately, things happen.
So there was a couple times that it was supposed to happen, and he kept calling it off.
Yeah, it was sometimes so happened, but he just kept calling on. He just didn't want to fight me.
Okay, and what about Kevin Kelly?
Kevin Kelly, that talk that fight was really never. I didn't get too much thoughts about that. It was brought up a few times, but there was nothing materialized with that fight. It was just talks with it.
But I mean, did you want that fight in your career too?
Well, with that fight with Ken, I know with that fight with Ken, I never really thought about it because that fight was never really brought to my attention. Much impressed me with the Sandman fight. So Kevin Kelly fight, I never really gave it much of a thought.
Okay. So let's. I want to talk about some of your titles real quick. You actually won the IBA Super Featherweight title. You won the WBA Bantamweight title, the WBO Super Bantamweight title, the USBA Bantamweight title, the WBC Continental Americas Bantamweight title, the IBO Featherweight title, and the IBC Super Bantamweight title. Did I miss any?
No, you didn't.
That's quite the resume.
Yeah, so yeah.
And
it's okay.
just so some people know who some of the guys on your resume are, I just thought I'd bring up a few names that are recognizable. Obviously, I mean, everybody that knows you or knows boxing knows that you fought Marco Antonio Barrera twice and, beat him twice, and we'll get to that in a minute. You got John Michael Johnson. You got Orlando Canizales. Obviously, Kennedy McKinney. Eric Morales, Tommy Johnson, Tracy Harris Patterson, and Paul Engel. I mean, those are some impressive names. I mean, you obviously stepped up to the plate and was willing to fight pretty much anybody.
Yeah, man, because my thing with boxing was that's what it's all about. I think you offer me a fight, I'm not going to say I want to tell you because it's what I box. We box, fight the very best. So I fought everybody offered to now was going to take.
Okay, do you consider, when you fought Orlando Canizales, do you consider that the biggest fight of your career?
Oh, yeah, my fault. Definitely my fault because here's a guy. When I fought Orlando once, he had just broke the record for 17 title appearances. They moved up to Bantamweight to super Bantamweight. He won the IBC title. So beating him, they were trying to match him in the Bantamweight for a long time, but it never happened. So beating him, a guy who just goes to the world record from all the defenses, man, I felt that's the highlight of my career.
Okay, so even though a lot of people know the whole matchup between you and Marco Antonio Barrera, you personally, that's your biggest fight.
Yeah, well, that's the most accomplished fight that I had in my career.
Okay, and let's talk about Marco Antonio Barrera. How does the guy go 43-0, but you know how to figure him out and beat him?
Well, with him, I just knew from watching him, I just knew Barrera, you can't go on there pretty, you can't. He's a great body puncher. So my thing about boxing, I take a body from plus most guys, when punch them, they were scared to punch them stuff there, but I can use my take the body punch away and I can punch with them, punch me first, I can beat them. That's what I did.
And now in the second fight, his corner tried to jump in the ring and get him disqualified, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you would have just beat him again.
Well, the second fight, I beat him the second fight because I had the box because I knew after being knocked out the first, I knew that he wasn't going to come hard. So my thing was I just had the box. So the second fight, I just went there just focus on my little focus on trying to hit no hard as well, focus on boxing.
Okay, and then I was curious. I looked the Paul Engel fight. You seem to be winning that. It was close, and then you get a TKO in the 11th. But then also in the John Michael Johnson, that seemed to be a close fight that you could have been winning, and then you get a TKO in the 11th. So what happened in those two fights?
Well, the John Michael Johnson fight was prior to the fight. That they had the month before the fight, I had to make a weight because I was getting big for bantamweight. So I was trying to dry out and make the weight go class was hard. So that fight was that crazy time. I started getting depleted as well going on. My energy started going down because I really got a little force with to make the fight.
Okay, and what about the Paul Engel fight?
Paul Engel fight was that new fight where I just punched up there. I just punched myself out. Just go there. And I punched myself out.
Okay, so do you think that you retired too early? Or in that Ivan Alvarez fight, did you just see something in yourself that you just didn't like anymore and you told yourself that was it?
Yeah, man, the time Alvarez fight was probably, I knew he was, my bad that kind of I know that my zealous for boxing was, I know that was a high for the sport I'm wanting to care about. When I tried to make money, just I was just doing it just because I had something to do.
Okay.
My passion for boxing is why I was tired of trying to make the kid out of the fight just to fight time because my love for the sport was started. I was going for my sport and mostly pop. So I wasn't focused on boxing.
Okay, and so I want to ask you how you feel about this. I read a statement that said Junior Jones is one of the most exciting fighters of the 1990s. How do you feel about that?
Well, I was one of them. I think when I fought, I gave everything I had. I never went on the ring and never played with God, but then I gave people in the boxing public the one to see. So every time I came to the thing was I fought hard every fight. I was always winning or losing. I never win a fight and win around the ring. I fight for every minute, every round.
And did you ever have any like superstitions or rituals that you had to do before a fight?
Not at all. Not at all. I think was you train hard, you know what they do what you gotta do. My friend, the man knows ritual training.
Okay, so now you've been retired since 2002, and it's 2015. So what have you been doing with yourself?
I was working for a while. Then I still go to boxing fights. I still go to getting boxing gear for fights and functions. So I still do things like that.
Are you a personal trainer though too?
I'm training. When I was in 2 gyms, I was training guys. That's how some guys come, they don't come. So now I'm trying to wait for the pro to come along and train really good pro players. So I'm trying to get a call for some good pro training.
And was there ever, I mean, I know you like basically were into boxing so much and you love the sport, but was there a favorite activity away from the sport that you love doing that a lot of people might not be aware of?
I play football really well. I play football. I'm very good at football. I'm very good at football.
So you love football?
Yeah, I played in high school. I was small, but I was very good. I was very strong. And I was small, I was the bigger guy. I had trying to hit a big guy.
So overall, how do you think a boxing affected your life, Junior? I said overall, how do you think that boxing affected your life?
None of that was sick. My favorite sport, my favorite affect my life. My favorite can't play forever. Any sport you do in life, you can't do it forever. You gotta retire and move on. So I don't think it affects my life much at all.
Is there, I'm sure you have a lot of boxing memories, but is there one favorite boxing memory that comes to mind?
Wow. If I'm saying, I'm figuring out for the amateur. And my great time was going to camp. I was going to camp. So my best time was I went to camp and gave a Holyfield and stuff. That was fun.
You were in camp with Holyfield? Is that what you said?
Yeah, we had the same train. We had time to go at the time. So I was in camp with him. It was fun. So I'm trying to call him and play jokes and songs about being in camp with Holyfield.
Okay, and right now, if a kid was getting into boxing, what kind of advice would you give him?
I'll tell him to, fight with your heart. I think if you go in there, do it because it's your heart to do it. Just do it because for making you do it or the family. Do it because you love it. When you can't like boxing, you gotta love it. So don't go there because you come when you like it. Don't do it. You gotta do it because you love it.
Now, in your career, was there ever one person that inspired you in and out of the ring?
Not really. Just my family. My mother, my sister, my brother, all that stuff. Just, my family. My family, so my kids, that my kids have something to, my girls have, my dad is what he did, so my kids is proud.
So, what do you know, when people look back at your career, Junior, and, you're gone or whatever, and people talk about Junior Jones, and obviously they always talk about the Barrera fights and, how you dismantled him and stuff. But what do you want the boxing fans to say about Junior Jones?
From saying that he was there for the time before he gave his heart. He never was on a dog fight. Every fight he put for it. He put everything on the table and gave the fans what they was building up what they paid for.
Okay, well, Junior, I'm going to end this interview on that note. I appreciate you taking time from your busy schedule and giving me this interview. I really appreciate it. I was a huge fan. And to the boxing fans out there that have never seen the Barrera fights or Junior Jones fights, go on YouTube, go to the video store, wherever you need to go. And if you're a true boxing fan, you need to watch Junior Jones fight. So, Junior, like I said, I appreciate this interview and thank you again. And all the best of luck in the rest of what you're doing.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, and the truth has spoken.